Hello, Williamsburg Landing. Welcome to another Tai Chi and Qigong. My name is Stan Rockwell. We'll start off with our usual posture, balance, and breathing exercise. So get your foundation squared away. Remember that visualized line around the outsides of your feet, that rectangle with your feet parallel and about shoulder width apart. You get your feet nice and firmly connected to the floor and through the floor to the earth, with roots growing down into the earth, or an energetic connection coming up into those bubbling wells or down into the earth from those bubbling wells. Remember, that's the acupressure point in the center of your forefoot. Make sure your knees are pointed in the same direction as your toes, so your arches are lifted up. Because when your feet flatten out, your knees tend to bow in like that. And you just sink down into it and really start to pay attention to how the bottoms of your feet feel connected to the floor and through the floor into the earth. Remember, a big part of balance is that feedback you get from the bottoms of your feet. Just relax down into it. See if you are equally balanced left and right, to the front, the back, and the corners. Once you're firmly connected to the earth, you connect yourself upwards. You use that by-way spot just to the back of the center of the top of your head. Pulls you straight up. Makes you taller, stacks your vertebrae on top of each other. Makes adjustments to your body. The tops of your hips are parallel to the floor. Your tailbone drops down. Your hips move back a little bit. That flattens out your stomach and your lower back. Tops of your shoulders become parallel to the floor. Shoulders nice and relaxed, so they're not pulled up around your ears, slouched forward, or pulled back at attention. They're just nice and relaxed, like your shoulder blades are sliding down your back. Imaginary line across your eyes and ears is parallel to the floor. As that line pulls you upwards, back of your head rises, your chin tucks in a little bit, and it maybe moves your head back just a bit, so you're nice and balanced. Your head is nice and balanced on your shoulders, which is a big part of balance as well. If you were to drop an imaginary line from your earlobe, it would go through the center of your shoulder, the center of your hip, down to the center of your ankle. You're balanced in all directions. So another line, the center axis, will drop from that by-way spot down through the middle of your body, through the perineum, and hit the floor equally distant, roughly from each ankle or from each bubbling quill, somewhere in between those two, depending on your body structure. And everybody's structured differently, and even we're structured differently over time. Just focus on your breathing now. Inhale through your nose, down to your diaphragm, expand all the way around your abdomen about hip level. But remember that 70% rule. 70% of your range of motion, 70% of whatever your maximum effort would be. And that includes your breathing. As you exhale, you pull the pelvic floor up to move as much air out as you can. If you want, you touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth, connecting those energy channels that run down the front of your body and up the back of your body, the microcosmic orbit. And it also disengages the muscles in your jaw so you can't clench your teeth. Make your exhale last a little bit longer than your inhale. So if you're inhaling on the count of, say, 5, exhale to a count of 7 or 8. Different breathing methods will sometimes have you hold your breath. So you would inhale to a count of 5, hold it for a count of 5, exhale for a count of 5 or 6. Just play with that some and see if that works for you in helping you, say, lower your blood pressure, your heart rate, those kinds of things. Typically, I don't really do that because when you hold your breath, sometimes that can increase your blood pressure or make your heart rate go faster. But whatever works best for you. follow me, we're going to start the top, work our way down. You just inhale, let your arms come up with your palms facing. Arms stretch out. Exhale. As your hands come in, pushes your head back just a little bit. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Just come back to the center. Inhale as your arms come up again. Your hand drops down, your arm folds over. And keeping your palm and your forehead lined up, you turn just your head and your arm to that side. As you come back to the center, lower arm comes up, palms face briefly. And then it's off to the other side. It's an inhale to the center. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more on each side. Your arms come back down. Turn your head to one side, either side, it doesn't matter. Then you just drop your chin and let your head roll across the bottom, back up to that center line and straight across. It's an exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And just reverse. Generally try to do the same number on each side just to keep things balanced out. Back to the center. One practice that's oftentimes used in yoga is alternate nostril breathing too, where you put your thumb on one side, two fingers on the other side. So these fingers come out as you press this nostril in and you inhale. Exhale at the other side. And then inhale. And exhale. And you'll see sometimes people will kind of put their thumb on their chin and alternate nostril breathe that way. Again, that's one you can play with. See if that helps with relaxation. Okay. Next one is just rolling your shoulders forward. If you have issues with your rotator cuffs, just rotate your arms so your palms are facing behind you and rotate with the elbows. And then just reverse. Arms come up as you inhale and exhale. Arms come up. Fingers point straight up. If you can, your forearms and palms touch. If that causes you problems, just let your elbows relax out. It's an inhale and an exhale. Back to the center, let your arms extend out, and just remember the principle of song, expansion of the joints, but keep some bend in your elbows. As your hands come back, you still keep some softness in your elbows, you don't fully compress. It's an exhale, and an inhale. And when your fingers are pointed straight up, just pause there, and your wrists just tilt towards you and away from you. Towards and away from each other. Circles one way, circles the other way. Bring your hands together and just clasp your hands, and then a little more for the wrist. You just again circle. And the other way. Fists with your thumbs on the outside that come to rest by your hips. You reach out to punch, open your hand, grasp, pull back in. exhale, and inhale. And for your fingers again, just have your palms facing upwards, blood belt high as you inhale. Visualize all the bones, all the joints just kind of expanding out. And then as you exhale, they relax back. So inhale, and exhale. One more. Just flex your fingers. Just relax. Come back to the center. Hold the ball. Press upwards. Back to the center. Exhale. Inhale. Back to the center. That center axis we set up at the beginning that goes from the byway through the perineum to the center of your foundation. We're going to rotate on that. But only from the hips up. Everything from the hips down stays nice and still. So I've got this hand on top. I'm going to rotate till the hands line up with the hip on that side. Then turn the hands around, keeping the palms facing. Come back to the hip on the other side. You can just inhale in one direction and exhale in the other. Or just breathe however you feel most comfortable. The important thing is to remember to breathe. And sometimes folks get so focused on the movements, don't forget to breathe. The breathing is kind of the core of all this. Back to the center. Let's do one more for your wrists, where you keep your palms facing, but just like you're holding the ball in your hands, just circling it around. Back to the center. Hands go out to one side. Shift your weight into that foot. No weight in the other foot. You can just reach out and touch. Back to the center. Same thing other side. It's an exhale and inhale. Hands come back down. Palms face towards the floor. Shift all your weight into one side. So it's empty, you can just reach up and touch. And back while you stay nice and balanced over that foot that's holding all your weight. Other side. Again, just synchronize your breathing if you want. Back to the center. Toes pointed towards the corners, a little space between your heels, fists at your hips. Shift all your weight into one foot. If there's no weight in the other foot, opposite arm's going to counterbalance. Out. Back. Exhale. Inhale. When you shift your weight over, you step up and you punch. Get that nice stretch, and then you come back. It's an exhale and inhale. And then get yourself lined up again, shift your weight over, it's just heel and toe. And then the same thing on the other side. And then for the lateral motion, your ankles just outside the foot, inside the foot, touch as close to the same place as you can. Same thing on the other side. And then being very gentle with your ankles, knees, and hips, you just rotate in one direction, in the other direction. Same thing on the other side. And then just relax into the center, and you start to shift your weight from one side to the other. You do the pouring exercise where you visualize that warm, salty water just going from one leg to the other, cleansing all the cells. swing. And then the drum, tapping first just inside the shoulder, and then at the base of the rib cage, just inside the hip and the inguinal crease, lower down to end, back to the swing. Remember, if you want, you just visualize yourself somewhere that you feel free, safe, secure, and serene. And just come back to the center, just relax, shift all your weight into one foot so the other foot just becomes weightless, floats up a little bit. Again, if you need to keep your toe on the floor, your forefoot on the floor, that's okay. If you need to put your hand on a railing or the wall or a chair. Other side. This time your knee comes up. Other side. Ankle comes up. Heel comes up, just like you've taken a step. Other side. And just drop your hand over your thigh. This time you can hold it a little bit. Sun shifted, it's coming right through the trees, so I'm having to do some of this balance stuff with my eyes closed, which I try to practice every day anyway, but I sway a little bit. That's why. If you really want to challenge yourself, you do balance work with your eyes closed, but I wouldn't suggest that if you have any problems or issues with your balance at all. There's three parts or several parts to balance. One is the feedback your body gets from where you are in space. That's why we talk so much about paying attention to the bottoms of your feet feel, because that's where you're getting a lot of feedback on your balance, is how your feet are connected, and it's not something we pay attention to much. The other part is your inner ear, the semicircular canal, so if you have issues, like if you have a cold or you have an ear infection, your balance is going to be off. The other part, though, is your vision. And if your vision deteriorates, or like as you get up in the night and you can't see very well, your balance isn't going to be as well either. One thing we do in class sometimes, and you can check this out too and see how it goes for you. Even if we're not looking at something, if our eyes are open, we're getting feedback from our vision. Like if you bring your arms up and touch your fingertips together, you do that with your eyes open. Works pretty easily, but try it with your eyes closed. I hit it the first time, but oftentimes people just closing their eyes, even though they can't see up there, when they have their eyes open, they have a better chance of bringing their fingertips together. So that's just something you can play with too in practicing balance. Okay, we're at about almost the 20-minute mark, so I guess we don't have a whole lot of time left. We'll do a short version of one. That's a 5-phase, 5 elements that I don't think we have done here yet. Bring your arms up, hands come out. You turn palm up, your hips go back a little bit, hands come in, palm up. Inhale and exhale. And this one is metal. Metal is associated with the lungs. again, you can do as many of these as you want. Metal gives rise to water. You come down, hand comes behind you and is palm up right over your kidneys. Other arm is palm back, off to the side. As you shift your weight, hand comes across, palm out. It reaches down again. Stay balanced over your foundation. Visualize where you can't go, and again, the 70% rule. You visualize bringing water up and letting clean water run down your arm, into the other arm, into your hand, into your kidney. And stagnant energy running out of your kidney and down your leg into the floor, dissipating away from you. And you do both sides. And again, it doesn't matter if you believe in that stuff or not, but it is a really nice stretch. And visualization, as we said before, is used a lot in healing and in improving performance in athletics. Balance everything out. Water gives rise to wood. For this one, it's shifting your weight from one side to the other, turning on that center axis a little bit. The breathing with this one, it's an inhale as you do this 3 times and an exhale as you do this 3 times. But if that complicates it, just breathe out as you feel most comfortable. Just make sure you're using your whole body, shifting them from one side to the other. Balance everything out. Wood gives rise to fire, associated with your heart, to come up, down, almost like you're holding a ball. One hand's going to go palm out, other hand's going to go palm pushing towards the corner as you shift your weight. As you come back to the other side, this hand's going to push right across your chest, the other arm's going to pull back. Looks a lot like Fairmaid works the shuttles in the own style, not exactly, but close. Again, you're turning on that center axis, shifting your weight, keeping your knees pointing in the same direction as your toes. This upper arm and the back is pointed, fingers are pointed in the same direction as the toes on that side too. Inhale across, exhale when you push. To the center, balance everything out. And fire gives rise to earth. Arms come up, push out. It's like you have index fingers pointed towards each other, thumbs towards each other. So it's almost like you have a diamond shape in front of you. Arms continue to come up. Lift the back of your head. Take the pressure off your neck. And again, it's a weight shift from one side to the other. Synchronizing your breathing. Balance everything out. We'll finish it up with the 5 elements we normally do. You're a little bit further apart. And remember, this is earth. So just inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Earth gives rise to metal, which is open and closed. Inhale and exhale. Metal gives rise to water that flows down again. Keep yourself centered over your foundation as you exhale and inhale. Center. Next element is wood, or energy. Down, inhale down. Exhale up. And the last element, fire. left hand's on this side. You rotate till the left hand is lined up with that hip. Bring the right hand up on top like you're holding the ball, and then like a bellows, inhale, and exhale. Circle around, other side. Back to the center. Arms come up. We're going to massage down the back energy channels, and then up front energy channels. And then standing meditation, standing stake or standing pole. And again, you can do this just as a meditation or an exercise all by itself. You can count the number of breaths or put a timer on it, or just hold it however you really feel. Just make sure your breathing is abdominal breathing. Okay, inhale up and exhale down. And back to the center. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe, healthy, and well. I'll see you next week. Take care.